Today, we're taking the motor out of the 67 Porsche, and I want you to follow along. So sit back, relax, grab yourself a cold one, and let's pull the motor out of a 67 Porsche. Let's get to this. So this is my 1967 Porsche 912. And what makes my 912 special is I have a 1976 Porsche 912e Type 4 in my engine bay. And it's the original tin, so it seals correctly. We're gonna have to pull this out to see what's going on. So if you been thinking about pulling the motor out of your Porsche 912 or 912, these few little tips I give you, maybe just what you want to see. All right, step number one, disconnect the battery. Go ahead and get all this done. I have pre-loosened these up so we have no more power. Next, let's head to the back. So now back here, what you're gonna do is disconnect any hoses and any wires that lead up to your vehicle or your engine. And for me, I got some breather hoses on both of my carbs. I have my alternator wiring that goes up to the regulator there. I got my throttle cable back here. I have wiring for different things in my coil, and also my fuel line. So I'm gonna go ahead and take all those off, label them if you're not sure where they go back, so you can put them back, and we'll come back to this part. All right, so first things first, temperature sensor here, this just pulls out. That's that green wire there. You then have the cables coming over here. You have red, that goes to the plus side of the coil. You got a purple one, that goes for your tack. Got that off, put that off to the side. And over here, that wire will stay in there. Then that can all stay on there. That's all disconnected. Next is going to be our oil sender. That's our idiot light. And that's a simple unplug. That's out. Let's see what else we got. Throttle cable. So we're going to have to disconnect it from here. Pull that pin. Bring it through here, around here, under the cable, and that should then free it up. And then there's a grommet back there, which I'll have to pull it out. All right, so we got that undone. We freed the throttle cable from the linkage up here. We'll put this off the side. Next, there's another holder right here. I think that's probably going to be about a 10 millimeter. Let me grab it. 10 millimeter, and we'll pull that off real quick. All right. I have a little bracket, custom bracket set up right here that holds my throttle cable in, so I can kind of pull it out now. Washer that was on that. So put that all back together. There's a ton of oil on top of my engine block there. So with that out of the way, next thing I have here is a little tie down to kind of keep it into place before it shoots under. And while I'm here, I'm going to disconnect my electronic points. Even though I don't have to, I'm just going to go ahead and just take that out of the way. Let me snip this real quick. That's going to free that line up. Next, let's undo the fuel hose here. And I think with that, we should be able to just slide this out. This hair cable will just will come out when we pull the motor out. fuel hose is off. Pull the breather hose off. It's full of water, or full of oil, I should say. Over here. One's off, and we'll take this one off right here. Okay. There's that. You disconnect is our alternator, our voltage regulator, and then we also have a disconnect here. Okay, this blue wire stays in there. This will stay with the motor. Put it in there like that. All right. Next thing is jack the car up. So these bumperettes have to come off first. They're held on by two on the top and one on the bottom of a Allen wrench, or an Allen head. I think. Yep. There's that part off. Okay, these fenders are held on by a couple of 13 millimeters. One bumper's off. All right, so you can see by removing the bumpers, it gives us much more room to be able to drop this motor down and pull it out, well, without having to take the carbs off and everything else. Next thing is, get underneath here, there's heater hoses, tubes, there's 4 of them. We have to disconnect on the car, and some other things that we need to wire and stuff of that nature. So let me grab the camera, let's go underneath and check this out. All right, so on the engine, Type 4, you have an air or a heater hose here that runs up to the top. Mine's blocked off on my 67. So we have that one to take off right there. And then right up here, this orange one, that takes heat into the cabin. I'm gonna take that off on both sides. So give me a few minutes and we'll handle this. And these are just those paper filter holder hoses that they use for everything. Okay, that one's loose. Let's do that back one. These are the orange rubber ones. And they'll just slide off. Okay, that one's off. Now go to this side. All right, since we're leaving our transmission in, here's the separation line between the engine and transmission. There's our clutch cable. If you follow it back, that little ball thing right there, my finger's at, that is your accelerator cable. At least on mine is. You can see the bar that comes up and in. So we're gonna disconnect that right there, and that will free up our accelerator cable. Okay, and in there, there's two more 17mm bolts. One on both sides. We're gonna take those two out, and then we'll take the bolts out from the engine support bar, and this thing should be out and on the floor. Two. On the original 912s, an engine mount bar goes here and across. The 911's actually right back in this corner here is where their mount is, which doesn't have one, but for the 12s, the early 12s are there. The 76 912E, however, goes in. 912Es have that bar attached underneath the car. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab a 17mm. We'll take the bolts out of both sides, and I think we have a motor that's coming out. Okay, so let's make sure our jack is secure. Take the weight of this and we'll pull those bolts out, and our motor should be ready to come down. Okay, a little bit down, just double checking. We forgot to take the wires off the starter. There's my throttle cable. Got it out. go. There we go. Oh, still stuck on that wire. Hold on. It's off now. All right. Hide before you can push under. Keep pumping. About right there.
Sure it's
Yeah.
little kitty corner.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Rental.
That's what you're telling me.
So we've been feverishly looking for a house, trying to purchase another property. Like what we hear that, something. But living with her, that's not gonna work. It's just that with her, you got to, girl. With her here, it's just. I mean, I love her to death, but it doesn't. We all need our own space. Yeah, it doesn't work. So, and plus with Lincoln, I mean, I can't. It's just impossible. It just doesn't work. So we looked all over and we bid on a couple.
Need help. Hold it steady. Big one.
Well, yeah, but the problem is that those legs aren't wide enough, and I have to kind of push this out.
You want it to straddle it?
No, I want these back legs here have to be past these legs. So I'm gonna try sitting down and just scoot it back. No,
I didn't think so.
no, but it's on there.
Oh, God.
All right, guys, we pulled the 912 motor out of the car. Wasn't that difficult of a job. It's just the 4 main bolts that hold the engine to the transmission in the back. You have your 2 bolts that hold your motor mount to the body. And of course, you have some cabling and wires and whatnot to disconnect. But overall, if I wasn't recording the video for you guys, I probably could have had this out in probably under an hour with all the jacking and everything else and taking the bumpers off. So easy to do. Volkswagen motors, Porsche motors, you know, the air-cooled ones, it's all I've done for, you know, the past 25 plus years, so I know them really well. So that's how you pull a motor. This is a Type 4, which came out of a 1976 912E, the 1-year only car that Porsche made. And I have a 67 Porsche that I put this engine in. And I've had a lot of people ask me, how did I pull this off? How did I do this engine swap? So I'll make a video coming up on how to swap in a Type 4 motor into a Porsche 911 or 912 if you happen to have a car without a motor or you want to just put something in it for the time being. So with that, guys, thank you so much. Next week, we start tearing into the motor to find out what's wrong. That number 4 cylinder, we're going to pull this off, try to get in there and look at that head. Hopefully it's a drop valve seat and we can get that fixed, put it back on, and continue to enjoy the car and this motor. All right, guys, thank you so much. Please like, subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you guys next time.